Goodness, I am zoomed in. You've cleaned up your diet, you're exercising, you're doing everything you've been told should work, yet the weight around your middle keeps creeping up, your energy is disappearing, and every time your doctor checks your labs, you're told everything looks normal. If you've ever walked out of an appointment feeling dismissed, this episode is for you. Welcome to Trust Your Gut with Tania. I'm Tania Vitello, a functional nutrition strategist and wellness practitioner who helps individuals resolve chronic, complex health issues that haven't responded to conventional approaches. With a background in biology and technology, I take a systems-based investigative approach identifying root causes, optimizing nutrition, and regulating the nervous system to create highly personalized protocols that actually work. I also integrate Kundalini yoga, Pilates, and sound healing to help clients not just heal, but fundamentally recalibrate how their body functions under stress. This week on Trust Your Gut with Tania, I'm joined by functional nutritionist Jacqui Justice, MS, CNS, CDN, LDN. I'm going to have you define those for everybody. One of the country's leading experts in menopausal wellness and metabolic health. Together, we unpack why so many women are being told they're healthy while feeling anything but. So, again, here's some of the things that she's done, which are pretty cool. So she's a leading expert in menopausal wellness, weight loss resistance, and digestive health with over 3 decades of experience. Certified in functional nutrition, she helps women worldwide through her virtual practice using a root cause, hormone-focused approach. A best-selling course creator on Daily Alm, her program, Shedding Your Menopausal Middle, the Menopausal Middle Menu Plan, and What to Eat After 40 have empowered over 200,000 women to balance hormones, boost energy, and thrive through menopause. Good work. Yay, yes.
Yay me.
No, really. That's incredible. I'm inspired. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a ride. So I just kind of wanted to start off this talk today by giving you guys an all too common scenario that most of my clients and myself, and most likely you too, have experienced. Okay, picture a woman walking into her doctor's office for her yearly routine visit and blood chemistry review. She's feeling terrible. She's got crazy symptoms. She's bloated. She's experiencing brain fog. And most upsetting of all is her body is changing. She's got this spare tire around her middle. It's basically her own private, my God, waking up in your mother's body sort of Freaky Friday situation. Okay. You know what? You go to sleep in your own body, wake up in your mother's. Yeah. It's
What
starring.
happened? I thought I was 12.
Anyway, she is secretly hoping that her misery will finally be found in her blood work and that some magical marker will pop out and give her a clear, actionable explanation. That is what she is desperate for. And she is actually so desperate for an answer that she is looking and happy about the possibility of a diagnosis and maybe even a prescription to solve it. That's how desperate we get at this point. So, okay. Then she hears the crushing, dismissive words. Everything is normal. Your labs look fine. Oh, that stubborn belly fat? Just eat less and exercise more. Ah, the perimenopausal medical mantra. I can't even tell you how many women over the years, I've been doing this for 30 years, how many women over the years have called me hysterical with those very words. It's like, I have all of these symptoms. I go into my doctor's office, I describe my symptoms and all of that, and I get my labs are fine.
Ugh.
It's just, I mean, it never should be like that, but in this day and age, with all the information that we now have and the big spotlight on menopause, that's kind of inexcusable, really,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
behavior. Um,
And it
yeah,
doesn't seem to be getting any better in the
no,
mainstream medical thing. I mean,
no.
I went through that years ago, so I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, yeah, well, that was 20 something years ago, but it's not gotten any
No,
better.
it has not gotten any better. And basically, this is where the conventional narrative breaks down. It leaves women feeling gaslit by their own biology and care team. And but the truth is, your body hasn't failed you. The standard way of looking at your health has. And that's really what this is all about. So have hope, women. We're going to give you some great answers and some things to work on here today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I'm doing this myself, I do my functional wellness things, but you know what? More information is always better. And I am struggling myself right now. I'm trying this, I'm trying that. And that's the thing, like individualized approaches. Like you can't just do like, oh, just do this. Like that's just not the way it's going to be working for just about everybody. I mean, yeah, obviously there's certain things that make sense, like generally, but for the
Yeah.
most part, it seems like, we are so unique in so many ways with all our genetics and the way that we're brought up and our past and our trauma and
Stress
access.
levels. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things
So
like,
many.
yeah, maybe you're carrying some things around with you like viruses or whatever. Like there's a lot of crazy things. So
And that's why you're right. A generalized approach. I mean, there are basic things that
right,
I think work for everybody. Eat a clean diet. But even what that clean diet is a little bit different for everybody based on your own unique issues.
right,
you know um so, and yes, we definitely need to move our bodies, but that's very individual as well, like depending on your nervous system. I mean,
right,
if you're trying to do like, crazy cardio and you're stressed out, that is not going to work for you. It's actually going to make things worse. It's
right.
actually, if we're talking about menopausal middle, it's actually going to make it worse.
So yeah, that's the first question I have for you, which is why is the conventional eat less and exercise more advice so deeply flawed and even harmful for women in midlife? Why?
Well, first of all, we are not a calculation. I mean, we're not a simple calories in versus calories out. That's way too simplistic for the, constellation of hormonal issues that we're facing all at one time. And so we're already stressed with these fluctuating hormones. Even if we don't feel stress, internally we are stressed. We're hormonally stressed at this time.
So what does that mean, just hormonally stressed? Just let's break that down a little bit.
So we're talking a lot about, like, they're all intertwined, these hormones, but
Mhm.
basically what it ends up with is that we're causing crazy cortisol spikes.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
cortisol.
no, that cortisol and our belly fat has, I think it is 3 or 4 times the amount of cortisol receptors in the entire body. So that's why when we're stressed, that's where the weight goes on.
Interesting. I did not know
One of the
that.
magic reasons
Yeah.
why. And insulin comes into play here too. But oh, sorry, your question again. I got
Well,
off.
like, yeah, so why is the
Oh yeah.
eat less, exercise more? Like,
Yeah.
why is that specifically?
Yeah, because we're already stressed,
Hmm.
and asking a woman to eat less, and she's probably not eating that much. Hardly any of my clients come to me eating too much. Most of them are eating too little.
Yeah,
And
same.
so,
Yep.
yeah, so, first of all, she's probably not eating enough calories to even withstand her like daily like metabolic needs. And so now you're asking her to eat less,
Right.
and now you're asking her to exercise more. So now she's really going to be at a deficit. And
Mm-hmm.
she's actually, and you're asking her to do something that her nervous system is not ready to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so your body is always trying to keep you healthy. It's always trying to keep you in a state of what we call homeostasis. And it will perceive that eat less, exercise more thing as a famine and hold on to every ounce of everything you got at this
Right.
point. You're not losing an ounce of anything. And so it totally works against you.
Right.
And plus, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be hangry. You're going to be craving all the things that make staying on a healthy eating plan so much harder.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot now, mostly, they they hit a macro every 10 years that they're like, you gotta do more of. Now it's protein, 20 to 40 grams per meal. I mean, I eat a lot of protein and I still kind of struggle to get to that. I mean,
Hard.
that is a lot.
Super hard.
Um, and and fiber, that's
Mhm.
the other one I've been working on. I'm able to work on the fiber now. I wasn't able to previously because my gut was inflamed. And that's another one of those things they say, eat more fiber, but what if your
Right.
gut's inflamed?
Some people can't. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
very nuanced,
Hmm.
this whole thing. And the best thing is for people to, work with people like you and myself to help give them an individualized approach. That's going to save them money in the long run without, almost every client I've ever had has come to me with like a bag of supplements, either their friend told them about or they heard about it on the internet,
Right,
none of which are right for them. So
right.
now they wasted money on a supplement that's probably doing them harm, might be conflicting with any medications they're on, and
Hmm.
maybe, you know, overdosing with certain, like even fat soluble vitamins.
Right.
So, you know, test, don't guess, work with someone that knows what they're doing, and at least get a plan to work on by yourself, but at least get something.
Okay, so the blood work. How does a functional look at our blood work differ from standard routine labs? So, again, you said about, when you go and they come back, they go, well, your labs are normal. But I see that what's on the labs are reference ranges, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, please tell me a little
So
more about that.
standard lab ranges are way, way, way too wide. Okay. They compare you to a population of sick people.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
that's always been the way it is. It has never changed. Those people are probably, in a disease state.
Yeah,
And so also, so there's two things. The lab ranges are way too wide. Everybody falls, and that's why you get the normal thing. I've seen people that the range, which is crazy, is a 0 to 100. They were 99 declared normal. So that does that make sense?
right.
So, but the first thing really is that the standard labs are not comprehensive enough, especially for a woman in menopause. We need to look at blood sugar markers, number one, because that's the first thing that goes off. And that kind of like drives the ship for everything else. So we want to look at not just fasting glucose, but we want to look at fasting insulin. We want to look at hemoglobin A1C, which is a 2 to 3 month picture of your blood sugar control. And it's nice to have what's called a HOMA score, which is, whether you have insulin resistance or not.
Homa,
Okay.
Homa, Homa.
HOMA. Yeah, you can
Yep.
do that simple calculation if you have your fasting glucose and insulin. Okay. You want to look at a complete thyroid panel. That's the next thing that goes off in menopause.
That
Just the
happened
look.
so early too, like way
Yeah.
before I noticed. I mean, I
Yeah.
was having issues in my early 20s and my thyroid was all messed up. I mean, it had to do with my diet,
Yeah.
but it was, I was on thyroxine, like a small amount of it, and I'm like, why am I doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Why? This is where,
Yeah.
like as you're going through life, you're like, something's causing this. Maybe I
Yeah.
should figure out what's causing it.
Like for instance, you were taking a T4. Um, your issue may have just been that you didn't have enough iodine or selenium in your diet, and that could have fixed the whole thing.
Right.
Now, it could have been other things. There are literally like 6, 7, 8 maybe reasons for a sluggish thyroid.
Yeah.
And the more, all the more reason why you need a complete thyroid panel, because you don't know if your sluggish thyroid is primary low thyroid. You don't know if it's autoimmune low thyroid. You don't know if it's due to nutrient deficiencies like iodine and selenium. You don't know if it's due to your stressed out adrenals, your gut health. There's so many reasons, toxicity.
Right.
So let's find out what the reason is, and then you know what to do. Otherwise, you're just doing the usual T4. And you know what? Most people that are taking T4 also need T3.
Right. Right. I mean, I remember I learned about this stuff, way before I did it, professionally. And I was asking questions. I worked in a lab. I got a degree in biology. I understand
Oh,
kind of the metabolic stuff. So when I went to the doctors and I started asking them for, what if T3, T4 uptake, like I went through all the whole thing and they're like looking at me like, why are you asking me for this? I'm like,
how dare you ask me
right? Like what?
that?
Well, I did see, I call him an intrepid endocrinologist back in the day, um, Dr. Lang out of
Oh,
Madison. Yeah, everybody knows him. I used
yeah.
to call him the wizard because he seemed like the Wizard of Oz, like you had to have an in to get an appointment with the guy. He's the one that discovered my MTHFR. He was like, I think
Oh,
you might have, and then I was like, oh, all right, this is cool.
yeah.
So, it was neat. I mean, but he was a little more like he did look at that. He did look at the functional aspect, but he was still prescribing the, cortisol. I even had cortisol, like cortisol, a little bit of it, given to me. And I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. I mean, I tried it, but again, I think he was onto something, but
Yeah.
um
I mean, he was definitely steps beyond the regular
way
conventional.
way beyond. Yeah. So I started arming myself with more knowledge as I went to see the doctor. And then I was looking at all the reference ranges and working in the lab. And I'm like, this looks crazy. Like,
I know.
this doesn't seem right. And then it did dawn on me, hey, wait a minute. This is an average.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, and even then, but now even more so, the average person is not healthy.
Exactly. Exactly. So it
So,
doesn't, it
yeah.
just doesn't make sense at all. We should be compared against a range of very healthy people that
Right.
we want to be like we
Right.
would be
Right. I,
compared
I
to
think
that.
they said it's only 7% of the population is metabolically healthy right now.
Probably. It's a sad number, isn't it?
That's insane. That
Yeah.
is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So, next question.
Okay.
All right. So, what are the top hidden culprits driving the menopausal middle on a blood panel?
Ooh. So what I just talked about, those blood sugar markers.
Right.
So insulin. So declining estrogen is also going to cause some form of insulin resistance. It just does. We need that estrogen to make our cells more sensitive to insulin. And once that takes a little bit of a nosedive, we become more insulin resistant. And so we want to see what our fasting insulin levels are. Like that should be on a routine blood chemistry, especially in midlife, for sure, because that, just as I said, it drives the ship. It really does. A lot of people think that menopause is all about estrogen,
Right.
but it's really all about insulin and the trickle down effect of all of that. Anyway, so yeah, so as estrogen declines, our cells become less sensitive to insulin, and that means we can't get our blood sugar inside the cell to be burned for energy as effectively. So it just gets stored as fat. Insulin is a major fat storage hormone. And so the more insulin that we have floating around because it's trying to get that blood sugar into the cell, it's floating around causing fat storage.
Well,
So
that sounds interesting. I know some people who are type 2 diabetics that are obese that are on insulin.
yeah, so if their insulin is not being utilized properly, that could be an issue. They should be wearing a continuous glucose.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best inventions
I know I
in
got to get me one. I got to see what's happening with things because I know
yeah.
there's certain things that you think might spike. your
Mhm.
insulin, and then it's like, well,
You'd be surprised.
yeah,
Yeah, even things like brown rice. Beep.
right.
You know,
Yeah,
you think,
yeah.
oh, it's so healthy, it's got fiber, it's a whole grain. Zip.
I kind of try to stay away from rice. My latest obsession is quinoa, and I think I'm eating way too much of it, but but I love it.
You know what's excellent with quinoa and also wonderful for menopausal women?
What?
If you make your quinoa
Hmm.
and then you take like a bag of that frozen riced cauliflower,
Oh, okay.
you do a 1-to-1 ratio of the quinoa to
All
that,
right.
and you saute it all in a pan together, and then add some seasoning. It is delicious. And also now you're getting all of the
Right.
like nourishing, you know, things from the cruciferous vegetable, but also the detoxing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a huge fan of cruciferous. I mean, I just anything like any that's so yeah, cruciferous, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. I have a head of cabbage I'm gonna slice on up and make sauerkraut out of. I bought the little jars, well, they're the pretty big jars with the
Yeah.
weights and everything. I'm like, because I've done it before, but I was just kind of winging it, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it the right way because I got some beets. I think I might work on doing that with too.
Nice. Let me know how it turns out.
Yeah, I love the spring. I love the summer with all the vegetables, and I have a farm share that I get, which is why I don't have to worry about cyclospora, which is like here it is. You guys, get yourself some local produce if you can. It is the best way to avoid all of these crazy things. There's just way too much consolidation happening with the food right now. And I'm very lucky to have a farm near me, and I get my beef, my chicken, and now my vegetables all
Nice.
from one drop-off location. So,
I have to look for that in my area. It's not, Stanford isn't like, that kind of an area too much, but there are
well,
some local,
you'll get
um,
drop-off points. They're
yeah,
doing that. I
okay.
mean, believe it or not, and I'm like, well, the carbon footprint of this, but the farm that I'm getting the produce from is in Maine, but they come down to my farm. They must have some regular thing they're
Okay.
doing, and they drop it off every other week.
So great.
So I do it, and it forces me to eat the things that I should be eating. And I've been
That
eating a lot of salad, which I'm not really like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat salads, but I need the fiber, like,
and you need the good rich enzymes that only raw foods have.
right, right. The prebiotics, right? That's another one of those wonderful things that also helps your insulin resistance.
Right. That's
Because
right.
yeah, it kicks up after, especially after a fast, which is what I've been doing, anywhere from 17 up to 36 hours at sometimes. The first meal, if well, first of all, bone broth is probably the best way to break it, but then the first meal needs to be some kind of high fiber, and it'll kick your natural GLP-1 into
Yeah,
effect, right? So that's what I've been working on, and I think it's making a difference. So
great.
yeah,
So I'm curious. I want to ask you a question.
sure.
In my experience, women in perimenopause and sometimes even in menopause don't do great with intermittent fasting. It's that their hormones are just way too
Mm-hmm.
fluctuating and they just don't feel great.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's much easier for men because their
Right.
hormones are much more simple than ours. And so, but you're obviously doing well with it.
I'm doing a cyclical fasting. So what I'm doing is I have kind of a quasi schedule, but what I'm doing because all right, so if a woman is perimenopausal, then what she's going to do is still getting her period is just follow her cycle. And in that first phase, like day one of the period, that is starts the power phase where you can probably be fasting longer, maybe doing it intermittent every day or whatever. But again, before I even get into any of that, and I do want to make it brief, but um, fasting, you don't just start. Like you got to build up to doing that too, because again, the blood sugar issue, we don't want people freaking out and feeling terrible and whatever. So
Right.
just pushing breakfast up. If you're somebody who doesn't want to eat breakfast, just don't eat breakfast. And and then that's fasting. But make sure your coffee doesn't have anything in it. That was like all I needed to do really was just drink black coffee.
Okay.
So and the other thing so throughout the cycle it changes. So leading up that week leading up to the period would be you're not really fasting. You're taking care of yourself. You're craving carbs, right? So you eat more good carbs during that week. So you're eating for your cycle, but you're also fasting for your cycle.
Right. Oh.
This is the work of Dr. Mindy Pelz. I have to give her credit because she is amazing with all of this stuff.
Mhm.
But I've noticed that it's helped me an awful lot. But
Good.
because I'm menopausal, I don't have a cycle. I'm following the phases of the moon.
Nice.
So it seems to be working, and I've noticed my hormones have gotten like better, like I got a little vim and vigor back, if you know what I mean.
You
Yeah.
sound thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, yeah, women
Okay.
are not men. I'm
Women are not
sorry.
men.
That's almost a controversial statement in this day and age, but physically, sex sex is sex, and we have hormones and things happening with us that need to be dressed differently. Period. End of story. That's just it.
Right.
Right.
That's all she wrote on that one.
And speaking of women, um, if a woman's labs are completely normal, but she feels terrible, what are those standard tests completely missing?
Well, I mean, they're missing. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over,
But
but
you know what? You need to.
yeah, I know. I know. They're missing like a full thyroid panel. They're missing a full blood sugar panel. They're missing, a nutrient panel. A lot of women, surprisingly so, are anemic. And so a full iron panel with a
Mhm.
ferritin level is really important. Hardly ever see that.
Right, right,
Hardly
right. I mean, you're
ever.
bleeding constantly,
Yeah, I
like you're
mean,
gonna be anemic.
yeah, that's just a crazy thing. And you know, so that as we talked about the thyroid, that has to definitely be complete. That's a frustrating one because that is solely like based on insurance. And so that's why they just do a TSH and a T4. And
Mm,
then if those things are off, maybe you'll get like a T3. It's like piecemeal. It's like just do the
right,
whole thing,
right.
know what we're working with here.
So
But
the
yeah,
insurance thing. So in your case, I mean, I know in my case, I'm on full script. They offer labs.
yes,
They're cheaper if you go
yeah,
through maybe one of us directly, if you need
right.
labs done that are not covered by insurance. Because what ends up happening when you have them ordered and they're not covered, it ends up being more, which is bizarre, but
Oh, you are
it's
so right.
insane. Yeah. So
It
that's
is
why
crazy.
going to one of us is so important in that circumstance because we will help you navigate
Yeah,
that,
yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
I remember years ago, before it was routine, which is also ridiculous, I wanted a vitamin D
Oh,
test,
oh,
and it
I
it
just
cost
went through this. Yeah.
$300
Yeah.
for a vitamin D.
Hmm.
So I have my own panel on Full
Hmm.
Script that's for menopause.
Right.
And then I have other panels too. If someone just wants a thyroid, just wants heart health. And heart health, speaking of that, is a net such a necessary thing for men and women at this time.
Hmm.
And I'm talking about a deep dive into heart health, like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, an advanced cardiac panel where we're looking at not just lipids, but also particle sizes,
Right.
genetic markers like lipoprotein little a.
Hmm.
Um,
So,
you
could you just real
know,
quick maybe explain to everybody what the lipoprotein little a is and why that is so important as
yeah.
opposed to just your standard LDL?
So it's a genetic marker,
Hmm.
and it is like so connected with high risk heart disease. And unfortunately, you get a statin for your cholesterol, which most of the time you could just bring that down yourself. But the statin will not do anything to help the lipoprotein little a. And I usually recommend niacin for that. They are working on a pharmaceutical now. So, I mean, not that I want a pharmaceutical, but it's good that there is a focus on this now. Most people don't even know that they have this genetic marker. But if you have had a lot of heart disease in your family, if you had anyone have a heart attack at an early age, like 40s, 30s, 40s, I would definitely recommend having this full cardiac panel, especially the LP little a, and and just see if that's an issue for you.
Well,
And
here's
then,
what's something crazy about that was that I recall that test being run 30 years ago.
really,
It's been around for a while.
yeah. I mean,
I
I had
remember
it
seeing it
30 years ago, but
on the requisitions at where I worked. It's now Quest Diagnostics bought out the small lab
oh,
that I started working in 1994. And I was in the esoteric testing department, so I had to gather samples and send things out um, to different labs, and it I learned a lot there. But I do recall seeing the lipoprotein A as a test, and I was like, "What is this?" So I started learning about it then,
oh,
which was kind of cool. But it's like if they've had access to this stuff
wow.
all this time, I remember this one naturopath, or he was a chiropractor, Dr. Swiller. I don't know if you know who that guy is.
That
He
name sounds very
he
familiar.
had this giant panel of everything that would come in, and my boss would be like, "Oh boy, it's a Swiller profile." But his was like there was like a I don't know, something ridiculous, like 48-hour urine, like 72-hour stool. I mean, it had like
Wow. Oh,
everything, all the
shebang.
blood, and it was just blood and guts. But it went into like looking for celiac disease and stuff like that. And that's where I started going, what is this? And realizing
Very
that,
cool.
yeah, yeah, it was really cool. But um, what kills me about it is all this stuff has been out there. It's just not being utilized. They're just staying in this very narrow focus of,
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
get it. I think homocysteine should be on a routine blood work, C-reactive protein, both
yes,
inflammatory markers.
right, right.
Why is that? Why do we not want to always know about inflammation? Like, how could that be a bad thing?
Well, again, I'm just gonna put on my tinfoil hat. It helps us keep coming back. That's why. You know,
Yeah, I guess.
that's a
Uh,
problem. They don't want to cure anybody, you know. Okay, so this is the question I'm most interested in. So once you identify the underlying issues, what does the path look like to safely shed that stubborn metabolic weight? What do you
okay,
do, right?
this is what I do. Okay, the first step is really to first of all stop the just random supplement self-prescription thing and make sure that like, just so I go through someone's supplements and I now have their blood work. So now I know what they actually need. And so, we have information now, which is what you need. You have the actual, information in front of you that this person is low in this, has too much of that, this is fine, blah, blah, blah. You need data. Data is so, so important. Test, don't guess. Don't just think, oh, this person has this symptom, blah, blah, blah. But symptoms do matter. Like you want to
Right.
merge symptoms and data together. Okay, so once we go through that, then I take women through my 3-phase program. Okay, so the first one is gut focused because the gut is really important for hormone balancing. So we just kind of do like a very, very low key, gut healing formula, and then add in some really good gut loving foods like your prebiotics, probiotics, even some postbiotics and then take down the inflammation in the gut, get that feeling well. If that woman has some issues like constipation, hopefully that becomes resolved during that period. I usually do that for about 2 weeks. If someone has some severe gut health issues, I usually run a gut health panel, and that's a pretty deep dive into
Hmm.
gut health. It's going to look at enzyme production. It's going to look at inflammation in your gut. It's going to look at the good and bad bacteria. It's also going to look at some icky stuff like parasites,
Right.
so
Well, 1 second. I just want to stop you at parasites because I'm I'm really into this. I took a parasitology course in my degree, and I'm really like, I mean, there it's an ick factor, big time.
It's a total ick factor.
But what I learned, and this is the thing that I keep yelling and screaming twice a year in my Equinox detox, is we all have parasites. We're all getting exposed all the time. They keep saying, "Oh no, we don't get them. It's too clean." Well, now obviously we're seeing that there are ways in which we can get parasites, and I E. coli in the water, or the cyclospora on your lettuce. You can have it in your cat box, like
Right. Anywhere.
toxoplasmosis. There's tapeworms from your dog or from undercooked beef. Like, it could come from anywhere. And just because you think you're okay, maybe it is the thing that's causing the thing to not make you feel okay.
Yeah.
So regular parasite cleanses is something that I like to do. And twice a year is like, that's okay. You do it more than that, it gets to be crazy.
Yeah. That's a
But
great idea.
yeah, so that's the Equinox detox. So that's just my little thing. I'm not necessarily plugging it. I'm explaining the parasite thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's more common than people think. And unfortunately, one of the things that I'd noticed too is that, in some circles you mention it and people think you're crazy. And it's like, no, that's kind of an icky truth. So I'm glad you're
Yeah.
doing that too. We need to deworm everybody.
Yeah. It's so I like to see exactly what someone has. So I've looked at, I don't even know how many of these gut health tests in my career, but I do rarely come across parasites, protozoa, worms, viruses, those kind of things. It's mostly an imbalance of the good and the bad
A
bacteria.
SIBO type
Um,
thing.
well, yeah, that can cause SIBO, but mostly, just your usual guys, like your LPS, lipopolysaccharide excreting guys that cause all kinds of inflammation.
Candida.
Candida, yeah, Candida is a fungus, and and you know what? I don't even see that as much anymore. I see
Really?
mostly this good and bad bacteria, and honestly, I
Hmm.
think a lot of it is due to our stomach acid. People taking Tums, all of those acid suppressors. We need really
Right.
high acid in our stomach. It acts like a bouncer
Mm, mm,
outside of it to not let the bad guys in. And so
mm-hmm.
when our stomach acid is suppressed, all the bad bacteria come in and they make their way to our small intestine, our large intestine, and they wreak havoc. So we need to have that stomach acid, and oftentimes people are taking those antacids and they don't really even have a high acid situation. Sometimes they have a low acid situation that's looking like a high acid situation. So it gets a little complicated, but and then not only are they letting bad bacteria in, but they're also not breaking down their protein properly anymore. You need that acid to denature your protein so it can be digested, absorbed, and all that. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that, your protein is not going to get properly digested, and then bad bacteria is going to feed on it. So now we've got that issue. So stomach acid is really, really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of that on there. I see a lot of H. pylori, which also has to do with that. So
Yeah, I learned
yeah,
about that. Oh my God, the
yeah,
pigs. The pigs. They discovered it in pigs, and then they were like, yeah, they were the farmers, as usual, right? The farmers are treating their animals with the things that they should be treating them with. In the meantime, they're saying, oh, we don't know what to do about the humans. It's the same thing.
yeah.
It's the same thing. And I think they were using a combination of an antibiotic and bismuth, like Pepto-Bismol,
Oh wow,
which
that's
I
what we
think
do
is
for H.
interesting.
pylori. Yeah,
Yeah, that Pepto-Bismol does actually do something, right?
yeah, yeah,
Thought that was pretty neat. Uh,
yeah.
so what can you do, just as like a last question, I
Oh,
guess?
let me just finish the
Sure,
three
sure. Yeah,
phases.
yeah.
Sorry,
That's
I went
okay.
off on a tangent. So phase one is gut focused, right? We're
Right.
going to add in that good gut loving foods and do some gut healing.
Mm-hmm.
Then the liver
Yes.
is phase two. So important. Your liver is all about cleaning out the excess hormones. And when that's sluggish, we can't do that. Or if you're constipated, we can't do that. And what's going to happen is that estrogen is going to be recycled. And now we have estrogen dominance. And now we don't feel good at all.
Yes, the
And so,
pooping thing. Number two
yes,
is
got
number
to poop it
one.
out. Yep. So for detox, phase one, in the detox world, not my plan, you are going around your body with a big black plastic bag. You're putting all the toxic stuff in there. And then phase two is you actually take it out to the curb to be picked up by the sanitation guys. And if you're not pooping, that's not happening. It's staying in your system and it's becoming just recirculated, all that toxic nastiness. So we have to have our gut and our liver in good working order. Last but not least, and maybe the most important, is we focus on the adrenal health. I will tell you that in my experience, most of the women that I work with that have a hard time getting rid of that menopausal middle is stress related. Honestly, these women are doing everything right. They're
Right,
eating, they're exercising, they're, doing what they need to do. They're not focused on their on stress reduction. And that is huge because if not, you're going to still be pumping out that cortisol, which is going to like play nasty with the insulin and and then there's another hormone leptin and they're like having a good old time on the playground causing all kinds of havoc and that menopausal middle will not go away unless
right,
you really focus on your stress. And it's not that big of a deal. It's not. You do some deep breathing, like set
right.
an alarm on your phone every hour, 3 deep abdominal breaths. Every time you're about to eat, 3 deep abdominal breaths. You
It's
definitely don't want to
becoming
eat when you're stressed.
right. I mean, people do forget to breathe. I mean, that's one of the things. Somebody
Totally.
called me the breathing queen the other day. She overhears me in my classes because in between when we're doing the different yoga poses and whatever, okay, take a deep breath and in and out. Like I do that in between all the time. So I've become very aware of my breathing. But I did discover something else, and I think we spoke about this offline before that I was having issues with not being able to sleep, my cortisol being really high, and learning about how lithium orotate helped me with that. And again, this is a individualized type of thing. This is what works for me, but it is a naturally occurring mineral that most people in certain areas of the country are deficient in.
Mhm.
There's just no reference ranges for it right now.
Yeah.
They don't have anything, so nobody talks about it. It's not the same lithium that they're beating people over the head with in a pharmaceutical intervention for bipolar disorder. It's a different form. You need far less, so you're not going to be feeling those weird side effects. I did notice that it has made me far more mellow. I'm not as hyper vigilant, but
Oh,
that's a good thing. Um, because what I learned about myself, and I think this is another one of those things that people need to realize, is you could become addicted to cortisol because it's a
yeah.
it is a performance enhancing drug, you know?
Yeah, go, go,
And
go.
right? And we're so pushed in our society to keep going and keep working and don't take any time off and God forbid you're sitting down, that kind of thing.
Right.
And no wonder we're all stressed out because it creates just this feedback loop of cortisol and it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting and those, think about those. I tell my women, if you don't want to do stress reducing exercise, just think of all those extra cortisol receptors in your stomach getting bigger as you're more stressed and stress. It's kind
Right.
of a good image.
And the good news is it's reversible,
So reversible.
right?
Yeah.
And
So
that people
reversible.
can take it into their own hands. I mean, that's what I've been saying right along. I mean, it is up to you. You just need to know what to do. And I think
That's right.
that's been the problem.
That's it. You need the data and you need to know what to do. And then you can do it. If you don't know what you're doing, you're trying to do something on your own, even, exercising, whatever, anything, and you don't know what you're doing, you kind of don't put your full self into it, right? Because you don't really know, you don't really trust yourself that you're doing the right thing. And, and you can make mistakes and some of them can be costly.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, like the MTHFR thing for me. So that mutation, I am taking the methylfolate when there's a good chance that what I was doing was making myself depressed by taking too much because I don't even need it that I don't even need to take it. So I started, I feel, I guess a little better emotionally. I mean, it takes a little while. That's one of the things about nutrition and supplementation. I mean, these things don't happen overnight, but I think I was counteracting it with 5-hydroxytryptophan. But it's like I don't need to take the hydroxytryptophan if I'm not depressing myself by taking the methylfolate. So
See?
see, so I make these mistakes. I have. This is why
Yeah,
I need to see people too. Just because I have this background and I'm a nerd about it, you don't know, like nobody really knows everything, and that's why testing is so important.
that's
That's why
right.
taking a full history is so important. Getting the big picture about a person is extremely important.
Exactly. Their
And
family history, their own
right,
history, all the, if they're on a lot of medications or supplements, like really taking the list and checking it out in an interaction tracker and making sure that, you're not making matters worse.
right.
And there's certain things like if someone is on statins, they usually take them at night. Well, a lot of people are also taking magnesium at night to go to sleep, but you shouldn't take those two things together. You would take your magnesium then earlier at dinner
Right.
and then do your statin at night.
Yeah.
So there's little nuances like that,
Right.
you
Yeah,
have
the
to,
drug interactions are huge.
yeah,
Like that's really, really huge.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have a giveaway we're going to be linking in the show notes.
Yeah. It's a
Want to
root cause
tell us
based
about it? Yep.
blood chemistry lab guide.
Hmm.
It's going to give you all the information of everything we just talked about as far as, what you want on your blood work. And it's going to give you the explanations why. It's going to give you the ranges, the healthy ranges. And it's going to give you questions to ask your doctor. So you feel fully empowered when you go on that visit.
Love it.
Okay. And
Excellent. Yes.
on it also on the back sheet is a link to my lab on FullScript if you can't get it through your doctor or you can only get it partially through your doctor. And also my link to my 20-minute appointment if you have questions.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything else like so where could people find you?
So people can find me um, a lot of different places, but my website
Hmm.
is JacquiJustice.com, and that's JACQUI, Justice, just like the word.com. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Substack, where I met this lovely woman, and TikTok, Facebook,
Yeah, I'll be linking all of
yeah,
your
all
stuff
those
below
good
so that people can
places.
find you.
Yeah. And so I want to leave you with something
Hmm.
today. So if there's one thing I want you to take away today, it's this. Your body has not failed you. And your willpower is not the problem. So, don't feel guilty about that either. The real problem is that you've been given an incomplete map. Standard blood work only checks if you are clinically sick today, but it completely misses the whole body ecosystem shift that happens in midlife. When your gut microbiome is out of balance, a troublesome unzipping enzyme leaks old hormones right back into your bloodstream. When that meets high cortisol and high insulin, remember I talked about how they play together on the little metabolic playground? It creates the ultimate perfect storm that tells your body to protectively pack on belly fat. And this is the true origin of the menopausal middle. By looking at your body through a root cause lens, we can finally clear that metabolic congestion, unlock those cellular doors, and give your metabolism the exact roadmap it needs to truly thrive. So there are answers.
Ah, yes, there's always answers. I'm so happy to hear that too. That's one of the things that I like to do throughout my podcasts is here's what's going on and here's what you can do about it because we're not here for gloom and doom, we're here for empowerment. and
Yeah.
education. So,
Why talk about it if you can't tell people a solution? Why,
right. And
why
they're
add to the wellness noise out there if you don't have
right.
something, good to tell them?
Yeah, the wellness noise. I know. I'm trying my best to like focus things down, make things simpler. That's what I'm
Yeah,
working on. It's too much for people. There's just too much, and they're
no.
experiencing too much.
Exactly. Every week, I have that aha advice column on Substack.
I love it.
Every single week, someone posts a question about the wellness noise. There's so much out there. I don't know what to do. Tell me like the three main things I should concentrate on, or what's good, what's not good, or everyone is experiencing, especially in midlife, because this we have been targeted. And it's too much, and a lot of it is nonsense, honestly, but a lot of it is good.
Yeah.
And so, it's one more thing to be stressed about, right?
Right, right. You've got adult children, you got aging parents, you
Yeah.
got that's like
Wellness noise.
yeah, your body's undoing, like doing a reverse puberty.
Right?
It's
I
fun,
know.
just at the right time. But it is the right time. And because I think the purpose of this is it's time to focus on you. So
1000%. That's
mhm,
that's that's a whole subject in and of itself.
I
Like
know.
most women that first come to me are not doing that at all. And it's so hard to get them to even focus on themselves a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
So,
I know. Well, so high five, excellent work. I'm so glad that I met you and that we had this discussion today. And I
yeah,
thank you so very much for coming on and
thanks
telling us
for
all
having me.
about how to beat that menopausal middle. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to tell everybody until then, have a sparkling day.
Thank you. You
Bye
too.
bye.
All right. Bye-bye.